Supercross lights riders from the West have had several weeks to intensify their prowess since the last round of competition. Andrew Short atop his factory Honda. Grant Langston on his Monster Energy Kawasaki. Nathan Ramsey, the Red Bull KTM jockey. And Sobe Honda young gun Billy Laninovich are just a few of the talented riders ready to roll next on Speed. Of the AMP Mobile AMA Supercross Lights West Coast Series had to wait patiently while the East Coast Series wrapped up their championship. Tonight in famous Texas Stadium in Dallas, the battle resumes with only 2 races remaining to settle one of the tightest points battles in Supercross Lights history. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen alongside former Supercross Lights champion Denny Stevenson. And these guys have had a lengthy break, Denny, and now they've got to get right back into what is a very tight points battle. How difficult will it be the riders for the West Coast Series to get right back up to speed?
Well, they've been off for over 2 months, but I've talked to a lot of these guys. They've been riding, testing, which is almost up to race speed. So I'm thinking Grant Langston, Andrew Short, the 2 guys are in this battle hunt. Only 2 points separate them. I think that layoff, all he did is make them more hungry. They're going to come in tonight, guns a-blazing, ready to take this title.
Well, let's show you the point standings for the West Coast Series as they get ready to get back at it here tonight. Grant Langston just 2 points down to Honda's Andrew Short, and Nathan Ramsey right in the thick of things as well on the KTM, and you certainly can't completely count out Billy Laninovich as he sits 19 markers back in 4th place. Here's the road to tonight's main event for the Supercross Lights West Coast Series. We'll have 2 heat races. There'll be 6 laps each with 20 riders, top 9 transferring straight to the main event. Everybody else gets 1 shot in the 22-rider 4-lap last chance qualifier. The top 4 will fill out the field in our 22-rider 15-lap main event. Almost ready to drop the gate here on heat number 1 for the Supercross Lights West Coast Series at Texas Stadium. Now, Danny, we have a very unique racetrack here tonight. There's one section in particular. Describe it for us.
Well, they got this tricky rhythm section right here. I think they meant this to be an on-off, but these guys are actually jumping that entire section. Leads into the fast triple jump, crowd favorite as always, into a tight left-hander, into another tricky rhythm section that I saw pretty much Grant Langston be one of the few guys to do it. They're jumping triple right here. They're then tripling again, and then they're hitting his face of this tabletop and jumping all the way into the corner. 2 straightaways done in literally 5 jumps, Ralph. A very tricky section. If you get it done, you're going to find yourself on top of the box, I think, tonight.
Could be a key here tonight. Now, before we drop that gate, here's Chris Devoto with a Progressive Direct pre-race report.
Hard to believe, guys, it's been over 2 months since we've seen the West Coast guys race. I talked to Grant Langston, you just mentioned him there. He said he was so glad to be back. Remember last year he raced the East Coast division, so he's used to the opposite end of the calendar spectrum, but he also won that division. Now, he is 2 points out of the lead behind Andrew Short with 2 races to go. Oh, and by the way, he turned the fastest lap in practice.
Dunlop start list for you now as the riders nestle into the gate. Langston and Nathan Ramsey in this one, and also Villopoto going to be here. So Ryan Villopoto, Denny, he's one of those riders that could be a spoiler in this championship.
He wants to get a win under his belt in his rookie season. That would be huge for himself, the pro circuit team as well. And Krista mentioned Langston being fast out there. Langston was almost 2 seconds faster than his rival, Andrew Short.
There's a good look at Nathan Ramsey. Just 11 points back. Certainly very much alive in this. Villopoto in the 51. It's just a matter of when this young rider gets a win and challenges for a championship in his own right.
Entirely, Ralph. He was the 2nd fastest guy on the track, a 2nd behind Langston, but the kid starts well. He just needs to stay on 2 wheels, and we could see him on the top of the box tonight.
And there's Langston, the other Monster Energy. Kawasaki, ready to go.
Grant trying to get that 4 sweep. He's won a Lights World Championship, a Lights National Championship, the Lights East last season, trying to win the West here this year. Eric Sorby comes flying into that first turn. Ralph pushes Nathan Ramsey wide, and Eric Sorby, the French rider, that motorsports outlet out front.
Sorby on the 917, the red bike. Out in front, and Villopoto sits in 2nd, but then drops back to 3rd. Ramsey up to 2nd now. on the KTM. Through the tunnel. The rhythm section here, through the whoops. Oh, here comes Ramsey making another move. A strong bid for the lead.
A tricky section here, Ralph. They got whoop to use around the corner. They actually had two right before the face of the tunnel jump that they removed after the first practice session to give these guys a little bit more speed coming to this long whoop section.
Finish line jump is right here. And we begin another lap.
And this is the section I talked about in the opening. These riders are jumping all the way over that on-off section, carrying a ton of momentum into that triple, head wide into yet the second rhythm section. These guys are only doubling it. I'd keep an eye out for Grant Langston, who's currently in fourth, maybe uncork that later in this heat race.
Do it when you need it, Denny?
Yeah, I think it's definitely. You know, Grant Langston looks really fast in practice. I think that second where he's so much faster, he's making up in that rhythm section. If he can get by these three riders right now, we might see him try it in the main event so he can get tested come main event time.
Well, the thing is, oh, here comes Ramsey again. He's going to take the lead, and Villopoto's going to take second on the green Kawasaki number 51. Remember, the top 9 transfer straight to the main, so you might want to save that slick move for the main as Langston moves his way up to third now because they're all in a transfer position, and Villopoto goes for the lead.
Nathan made a mistake in that whoop section, was unable to keep the momentum. Just like that, Villopoto takes the lead, and now Nathan has his hands full with Grant Langston.
Hey, Villopoto, maybe tonight's the night, Denny. A heat race win would be a good start to Villopoto, chasing a win here with the Supercross Lights West Coast Series. He leads it early in heat number 1. Forward. Back to the action here in Irving, Texas. Ryan Villopoto out in front and leading the rider out of Washington State. So many great things expected of this young man, and boy, he's showing his stuff here tonight. Triple on his way through that big rhythm section. Let's see what he does on the way back. And he begins with a triple, Denny. Yep,
they tripled again, and then did not triple out. But they're trying to build up for it. Ryan Villopoto mentioned just an outstanding rider in his rookie season of Supercross, and if he has any hopes of winning this main event tonight, his main rival is his teammate right behind him, Grant Langston. He needs to match the pace of Grant if he hopes to win that main event tonight. And right now, Villopoto, that young rookie rider, is holding the pace of the veteran.
You talked about building up to it. How much do you have to go through mentally? Oh, look at this. The door almost opened there for Langston. How much does a rider go through trying to build up his nerves, his courage, his ability maybe, to complete a section like that?
Well, it's a matter of just being able to uncork it, basically shut off the brain a little bit and go, you know what, I'm just going to have to try this out. Only a handful of guys in the Supercross class are doing it. James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, these guys are on much smaller motors, a little bit less power, but you're going to see it right there. Villopoto does triple again, and now they're going to try and triple out. I think Langston's able to do that. Villopoto's not. Langston doesn't want to try anything too aggressive, risk crashing into his teammate, but I think if Langston gets by him, he'll be able to jump through that section. And like I was saying, I think it's just a matter of trying it. Once you see the big bikes do it, and you see someone else able to do it, it's just a matter of just kind of giving it a handful of throttle and seeing if we get that monster approaching Cali over that rhythm section.
Hoping for the best when you do it, right?
I'm hoping for the best, always.
Much different section here, very slow through that corner.
This is a very technical track this weekend in Dallas. It's that usual clay base, makes the track a little slippery. Two very difficult sections to whoops. That one is exceptionally long, carrying a lot of momentum into it. And Ryan Villopoto gets the win, Ralph. Huge confidence boost going to that main event.
Checkered flag for Villopoto. He'll lead the 8 other riders out of this heat straight to tonight's main event. One of them, of course, will be his teammate, Grant Langston. The other man in the middle of the championship chase, Nathan Ramsey, gets a transfer with a top 3 finish here in heat number 1. Let's go back to the beginning of this one. Here's the whole shot as the gate dropped.
Check out Eric Sorby on the inside on that Honda. He's going to come racing in, just basically punch Nathan Ramsey out of the way, pushes the track clear, and opens up the whole shot for Eric Sorby in that Motorsports Honda.
Now Villopoto made this move to get himself up into the lead.
Nathan's been having some difficulties in his whoops all day long, and that Monster Energy Kawasaki Villopoto just blasts by that Red Bull KTM, and I think KTM needs to do a little suspension testing here before this main event because Nathan just can't get the speed through those whoops.
What is it about the suspension are you not sure about?
They got a different setup over at KTM. They're just gonna have to make something to get through it. Nathan's dropping in. They're gonna have to maybe quicken up the rebound a little bit.
There's a look at the top 9. They're all going on to the main, including Michael Sleater, who gets a last transfer. Everybody else had to do a last chance qualifier. Let's head downstairs to Kristen.
A great battle between teammates, Grant Langston and Ryan Villopoto. Ryan Villopoto comes out on top. And, you know, I was talking to you earlier today, and you said, man, I'm in 6th. What's a realistic goal? Are you gunning for 5th, 4th? How high can you get?
Well, if I can get the podium the last 2 races, I think I want to try to get at least top 3 overall. And if I can do that, I'll be stoked, because my season's been not super bad, a little rough, but, you know, all my sponsors have helped, like Doug from Bridgestone, Monster Pro Circuit Energy, Jeff Fox, Parts Unlimited.
Look, you're just a rookie, but you've got the sponsor thing down. Congratulations, Ryan Villopoto wins our first heat. Of course, we're talking big picture, guys, the points.
That we will, but this young man is certainly going to be one to keep an eye on here in the near future, because Ryan Villopoto may be going to grab that big win here tonight as we get set now for heat number 2 with the West Coast Series. And here's your Dunlop start list for that one. And we'll see the other man in the thick of this points chase, Andrew Short on the Honda. Talked to him earlier today, Denny. He's ready.
Yeah, he's been racing the last those early rounds with a broken foot. I think a lot of us had forgotten about that. He's been riding very strong. He's had 2 weekends off, or 10 weekends off, I'm sorry, to get that ankle and the foot healed up. And I think he's looking at 100% effort tonight. And he's only 2 points up on Langston, so he's hoping to get a win tonight, further extend that lead.
And let's head downstairs to Chris Devoto with a Progressive Direct pre-race report.
Well, we saw how quick Grant Langston was in that heat. With just a couple races to go, there is no room for error. Andrew Short, our current points leader, is hoping his bad luck was already out of the way. You see, he went down, made a little contact in today's first practice. They had to make some repairs on the bike. He was able to get back out there, but he lost valuable track time. Remember, they only get 1 day of practice. He was a bit back on the speed chart.
There's a look at Andrew Short on the Honda.
Andrew needs to find some speed. He was almost 2 seconds off the pace of Langston in practice, but I'm sure Andrew will find the speed. And Billy Laninovich, he's been riding that 250 out east for that 450 Honda. I think that's going to help a lot of practice. He knows the competition. He's going to carry a lot of momentum coming in here tonight as well.
And he's got an onboard camera with us. A Sobe Samsung Mobile Honda onboard. And Michael Alessi. Now here's another one of those young riders. Keeps getting faster and faster every time we see him.
We saw Villopoto just win that first heat race. Mike Alessi battled with Ryan throughout most of his amateur career. Mike's hoping to follow suit here in heat race number 2.
And Short with a good start. Short's going to get it on the outside and take the early lead as you go on board with Billy Laninovich back in 4th place now as he takes a quick look over to his left. He's got somebody right along onto his inside, though, as well.
You saw that perfect camera angle right there. Mike Alessi making a different jump through that rhythm section. He passed that Darcy Lange and moved in a second. Now Billy Laninovich is going to try and do the same and try and work his way to the front of the pack.
Andrew Short out front.
Well, when you're the points leader coming in and you're looking for a little momentum, nothing like starting out this heat race out front.
The shadows are gone and the rays of sunlight gone here at Texas Stadium as well. Remember, the big hole in the roof here, about 100 yards long, has a lot of weird things to the dirt as we watch Alessi now making his way up through the field.
Well, we just saw Mike out of the camera range there. He messed up in the whoop section, and Darcy Lange passed him back, and now Mike goes a little wide, and Billy Laninovich makes the move. Mike just needs to settle down a little bit, get into a good pace, and try and start moving back forward.
And Denny, we talked about that sunlight that comes through the hole in the roof here at Texas Stadium. This dirt known for getting very hard packed because of the heat of the day, and it was very hot here today.
It was a warm day, and this was some very hard packed clay. And it's 100% clay. So these guys, instead of just throwing down a pile of dirt and packing it, they basically have to shape these jumps. They brought in a little bit of wet dirt. It's been raining down here the last couple of days, but Dirtworks did a great job. They covered the track, and we've got ourselves a great racing track for tonight.
Remember, this camera is mounted right to the top of Billy Laninovich's head, so you can see how much that motorcycle moves down below him. One of the most incredible shots in all of professional motorsports, and it comes courtesy of Billy Laninovich. Stay with us. We're coming back to Dallas.
Next Saturday, Super.
Big changes in the top of this one. Andrew Short has the lead still, but it's what happened behind him that will shake things up here tonight in this heat race and potentially in the battle for the championship. There's Billy Laninovich, who's in the fight for the championship, had a transfer spot, and now sits in 12th because of this.
This is a tight rhythm section. There's a lot of whoops around the corner. He goes outside, front end washes out there. It's still a little bit muddy from the rains we've had earlier this week, and down Billy goes, and outside of transfer position right now.
That's what it looked from where Billy was laying. And it took him a while to get it started, and he dropped like a rock through the standings. He's back in 12th, only the top 9 transfer straight out of the heat. And the laps are ticking away. There's only about a lap and a half to go. And he's got to gain 2 spots now. He's up to 11th. Meanwhile, Short just trying to put in the laps, find his rhythm, and start thinking about the main.
I think the last couple rounds we've seen Grant Langston go faster than Andrew, but Andrew hasn't made the mistakes that Grant has, and that's why we see Andrew riding so strong, getting good placing for finishing, and he's out front the points battle. Tonight's going to be a true battle. Let's see who's got not only the fastest guy, but the smartest guy who gets 15 laps in that main event. And with only a 2-point separate first and second in championship hunt, there's no just riding around. A win is what's going to get the championship.
You can see how tentative Andrew Short was going through that very section where Laninovich went down. Checkered flag waves for Andrew Short. He's going on to the main. Laninovich is up to 10th now. Let's see if he can get one more before he closes out this heat race. Otherwise, it'll be a trip to a last chance qualifier, which he should be able to transfer out of. It's just that much more racing before the night is over.
Great job by Darcy Lange, coming back from an injury earlier this season, former arena cross champion, finishing second behind Andrew Short and putting himself in that main event.
Now let's take a look back at the whole shot that got this one underway.
It's a short start here this week, and you're coming from the side of the stadium instead of running the full length. See Andrew Short come in, he just chops the guys on the inside. Darcy Lange right there on the green bike. That's Andrew Short, and then Mike Alessi there in third. And basically those guys finished 1, 2, 3 8 laps later.
And Billy Laninovich finished 10th, and here's why.
Drops the front end here. He gets a little wide. You see the loose dirt out there by the tough blocks. Just tucked the front end. Down he went, and he ends up dropping back to 10th. 1 spot out of that transfer spot.
But Andrew Short gets the win here in heat number 2. There's a look at the top 9 names out of heat number 2. They're all headed on to the main event. Let's head downstairs to Krista with our winner.
Well, Andrew Short did not have the speed that Grant Langston had in practice. He had that little trouble in practice 1. Were you a little nervous coming into this? And if so, is this like a huge sigh of relief?
Yeah, it is. You know, it's been a long 10 weeks. We had a big break, but I worked my butt off. I'm prepared. I know what I have, what it takes to win, and I finally got a section down that I was struggling with in practice. So now that I have the track wired, now I got to pick it up in the corners and have fun and race all those guys in heat number 1 and give them a run for their money.
All right, little pieces of confidence. That's what it's all about. Andrew Short wins heat number 2.
Tomorrow on Speed, the MotoGP World Championship from Turkey. Young American Nicky Hayden has had strong podium finishes in the previous 2 events. Will this be the week he finally takes the top spot? Find out when the MotoGP World Championship races in Turkey tomorrow 4 Eastern on Speed. The last chance qualifier will be our next racing action from here in Dallas. Stay tuned here on Speed for more the Supercross lights. Tomorrow on Speed, it's AMA Superbike action from California. Matt Mladen was the man to beat in 2005. Does he have the right stuff to repeat in 2006? Tune in tomorrow, 5 Eastern, for AMA Superbike racing from California. Well, there's a couple of slots left in the gate for our main event tonight from Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. We will fill those from the last chance qualifier. And here's a look at our Dunlop starting list, and Billy Laninovich, the surprise name in tonight's LCQ, Denny.
I would think Billy should have a pretty good cakewalk right here. He had some good lap times, good fast speed in that heat race. Lost the front end over in that tricky rhythm section. Had to go to last chance qualifier, but I think he'll get through this pretty easily. A couple other riders to keep an eye on, I'd say, is number 338, Jason Lawrence, and that Rockstar Suzuki, and that number 35 of Danny Smith. Or I'm sorry, not Danny Smith. Paul Carpenter, same team, very similar number. Paul Carpenter as well. I think those three riders will be for sure three. There's four guys transfer, be one wild card somewhere there. That's my prediction.
Billy Laninovich right alongside the box in the center of the starting gate, showing you the onboard camera. 30-second board is up. It'll go sideways. She will exit the racetrack, and we will be racing. 21 riders, top four advancing.
Keep an eye on your screen there. Billy Laninovich gets a huge jump, blast in the first turn. Got that Rockstar Suzuki right inside of him. See Billy Laninovich take a glance over his shoulder. You wanted to see right there if Jason Lawrence was close enough to him to maybe put him in the cheap seats in that corner. Took a quick glance over to his left, saw he had plenty of room. He was able to go wide, and now set to a good pace out front on that Sobe Samsung Honda.
Here comes Billy out from underneath the tunnel. Jason Lawrence right behind him. Lawrence on the 338. And the rest of the pack. Denny, Jason Lawrence is a rider we really haven't had a chance to talk a whole lot about this year, although I think many people thought we would be talking quite a bit about him.
Yeah, Jason Lawrence is a bit of a controversial, crazy kid. He's got a wild personality, likes to do some crazy stuff. You know, I also thought we'd see a little bit more of him. He's done really well outdoors. He's kind of struggled a little bit this year, but he's a rookie. It's his first year in Supercross. It's a tough sport. He'll figure things out. He's got a steep learning curve. He hasn't had, obviously, success that Villopoto has had, or Alessi, but, you know, I'd like to see Jason get up there, do a little mixing up there in his main event, possibly get a top 10, but first you got to get through this rhythm with his last chance qualifier, put in the main event. But look at this battle right here. Three riders. Danny Smith, one of them, or Paul Carpenter, pushes those two guys wide and moves into third spot.
And remember, it's the top four that are transferring out of here to the main event. So every one of those spots at 3, 4, and 5 right there, very, very pricey.
Well, the three guys that picked to be out front are up there, but that wild card 4 spot is still open between a few guys, Dennis Ewing, Riley Kurowski, and Eric Nye. Just a handful of these guys coming through this tough whoop section, but only a couple laps to go. Only 4 laps this last chance qualifier. Not a lot of time for error.
That's a look at Carpenter on the 35. And Laninovich out front, running pretty strong. And Laninovich, as we talked about early on, Jenny, has spent the last few weeks running with the Supercross series on the big bike back east. How much of a difference do you think it's been for him to make that adjustment?
You know, it's a big difference. Those 450s are big motorcycles, and he's done real well out there those 4 rounds. He got a 9th one race, he got a 20th, an 8th, and a 12th. So he had 2 top 10 finishes. For a lights guy, that's not easy, and Billy hoping to carry some of that momentum over. I think he looked good in the seat, just made a slight bobble. So come main event time, look for Billy to be up front, chasing for a podium position.
Look at this fight going on back here. Eric Nye on that 89. That's the transfer spot that they're battling over.
Dennis Ewing right there on that Honda in front of him. And just behind these 2 riders on the Motor World Yamaha is Jason Partridge, tall, lanky kid. Jason's been kind of banged up this season, but he's looking to come back, and he's right behind 2 riders who are right now battling for that final transfer spot. Partridge looking to make it a 3-rider battle.
And Laninovich struggling a little bit right there, but keeps it going.
I'm sorry, it's Kyle Partridge. Jason's his brother. Jason I know real well, and Kyle, the younger of the 2, on that Motor World Yamaha.
Billy had a pretty good run through the races that were contested early on the West Coast Series. Finished on the podium, the top 2, first 2 races in Anaheim and Phoenix, and had a 4th at Anaheim 2, and then started slipping back, went to a 7th in the mud race in San Francisco, a 6th at Anaheim 3, and then all the way back to an 11th at San Diego. But he stayed in the hunt for the points. And Laninovich takes the win. Lawrence, Carpenter, and Nye will join him in the main event here tonight from Texas Stadium. Show you the results from this one. Remember, the top 4 riders transfer. Pair of Hondas, a Suzuki and a Yamaha will also be added to the gate for the main event here tonight. Did something from this race weekend set you off? Are you ready to give someone an earful? Do you have the answer everyone needs? If so, call Wind Tunnel's new Fired Up line at 866-W-TUNNEL anytime during the weekend. Leave your message and tune in to Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain tomorrow 9 p.m. Eastern to see if you made the cut. Are you fired up? The final is set. Main event time coming up here from Dallas, and Andrew Short will be there on the number 29. Ryan Villopoto. Can he get that win? It might be tonight in Texas.
Next Saturday, Supercross season finale is in Vegas.
Let's do it.
And only on Speed.
Fantastic.
For the first time ever, live bar-to-bar action. The high-flying aces.
Stewart's on fire.
And he up for a showdown.
This is the battle right here.
And a big payoff.
Look at Reed closing in.
Pool revel in victory.
A great move by Carmichael.
And pool tap out.
Unbelievable.
AMA Supercross final round live from Sin City. Next Saturday night, 10 Eastern. Only on Speed.
Good crowd on hand here tonight in Texas Stadium as we get set for the West Coast Supercross Lights main event. Been a long break for these riders, and now they're ready to get back to the racing. And here's our Dunlop starting list. Grant Langston, Nathan Ramsey, and Andrew Short. That's pretty much your championship battle right there in those top 3, Denny.
Yeah, and it's all coming down to tonight. Who's going to carry this momentum into the final round of Seattle next weekend? Right now, Grant Langston looked very solid as he raced, but he took second to his teammate, Ryan Villopoto. And Andrew Short looking also to capitalize on a big win tonight.
Progressive Direct pre-race report now with Krista.
Guys, you've been talking about the dirt. We're looking at kind of how it's so soft like clay, but as we talked about, the sun is baked in throughout the day. Look at the face of this finish line jump, how hard packed that is. It's getting slippery. Something else it's getting is what's called blue groove. The dirt has worn away. It's like asphalt underneath. Check this out. This is what these guys are dealing with. Hard as a rock. Tires definitely will be a key tonight.
And Denny, as we look at Ryan Villopoto, a lot of the guys will cut those tires a little bit and try to search for a little more traction.
Got to take out the groover, add another edge, anything they can to get this track a little bit more tacky. Andrew Short, 2 points up, carries the momentum in from the last race, trying to make something happen tonight and further extend that lead to 5 instead of just 2.
Big key is how healthy he is coming in after that break. Who's going to get to turn 1 first? A big key here tonight in Dallas. And it's Ryan Villopoto.
No surprise at all, the number 51 of the Monster Energy Kawasaki, Ryan Villopoto, and his nemesis throughout their entire amateur career on the Red Bull KTM, Mike Alessi, right there in tow in second.
And Sorby rides in third on the 917. Eric Sorby right there. He's had great starts all night.
Grant Langston buried in the middle of the pack. He got through the first turn, I thought, pretty good right next to his teammate. Made some mistakes in the first couple rhythm section, and now we find him buried. I'm saying in about 12th spot. Right there coming into your corner. He's about 7 spots behind Andrew Short, the points guy who's up in 4th. I'm saying we're in for a big race tonight.
A lot of riders going to have to come through the field. Ramsey is just inside the top 10 as well as we look at Villopoto over the finish line jump as he begins another lap. Let's go back to the progressive hole shot and show you how this one unfolded at the start.
Well, Ryan Villopoto is known for getting good starts. You're going to see him on the inside middle of your screen right there. He blasts out. He only weighs about 130 pounds. If you're looking for horsepower, you better be good light. Ryan Villopoto did just that. Got to the first turn first. You see Langston, he was right there, up in the top 5. Made a mistake, found himself now buried in the middle of the pack.
Well, Villopoto chasing that first ever win. There he goes, and he's building up a pretty good lead, Denny. Already extending it about a little bit over 2 seconds between him and Michael Alessi.
Well, I felt the only 2 riders that had a shot at beating Ryan Villopoto was Andrew Short and his teammate Grant Langston. But we find those guys, Short still in 4th, Langston's back in 10th.
Here comes Short up the inside. He'll pick up a position.
And so I'm thinking that Ryan Villopoto, we were seeing something very similar we saw at the opening round at Anaheim when Villopoto got out front. But I think then Villopoto didn't know what to do when he was out front. Got tight, rookie youth. Now he knows what it takes to win a race, and he's out front trying to get his first win here in Dallas.
Ramsey is off course. Nathan Ramsey. A tough break for him. And let's see where he's going to rejoin the action.
And last, 22nd.
Last, yeah.
He's virtually out of this points chase, and now it's down to these riders in 2nd and 3rd. Mike Alessi, Andrew Short. Short is right where he needs to be, ahead of his points battle nemesis, Grant Langston. Short's needs to ride a smart race. He doesn't necessarily need to win this race, but he needs to definitely beat Grant Langston.
Well, while Short's battling for 2nd, Langston's up to 7th, trying to get into 6th.
Mike Alessi struggles in the whoops, makes a bobble and opens up the door. Now Andrew Short moves into 2nd spot. We see almost a repeat of what we saw again in Anaheim 1, the opener this season. Villopoto way out front, the rookie. Andrew Short, the experienced factory Honda rider, in a close 2nd, but he has about 4.5 seconds he needs to close up the gap.
The difference tonight, though, is does Ryan Villopoto keep it together mentally throughout the whole race. Krista.
Talking about Andrew Short, something to point out, he was so focused this morning on the track walk. A lot of the guys, that's their time to kind of catch up with everybody, especially since these guys haven't raced in the last 2 months. Andrew Short kept to himself, walking around with his mechanic, so focused, noticing every inch of this track.
Villopoto, so far, hasn't made any mistakes. His focus has been exceptional as well. Lapping 52.5s, Denny, his best lap. His last one at 52.5 as well.
He's the fastest guy on the track by over a second. His teammate Grant Langston just down to 52.8 the last lap. So Langston's got the speed, but he's got a long way to go. He's got a couple of riders, Michael Alessi and Eric Sorby, between this rider right here, Andrew Short, who Chris was just talking about. And this rider, what an impressive young rider Ryan Villopoto is. So wise, got his ears, just attacked this more Supercross like nothing. And here's that battle with Grant Langston route.
Langston on the green bike, number 8. Working the backside of Michael Alessi and Eric Sorby. Sorby's on the 917, the first rider of this pack.
That's that deep whoop section you see right there. A lot of riders struggling through it. But you see Grant Langston dropping the inside of Mike Alessi, going to take over that 4th spot. He's now 12 seconds down on Ryan Villopoto and 7 down on Andrew Short.
There's Villopoto. Now, maybe an advantage for Villopoto is the fact you think Andrew Short just figures as long as I run in 2nd, I'm in good shape. Well, maybe he is going to have to push because Langston's now up to 3rd.
We saw this in San Diego a few months back. Langston came from the back of the pack, chased down Andrew Short, almost passed in the last corners. We know Langston's capable of making up great distances in a short period of time. But Andrew Short, I don't think he's going to settle in. He needs to get out front, get this win if he can. Every point's going to count. The difference between 1st and 2nd is 3 points. And when there's only 1 round left in Seattle, there could be some rain, could be mud. You don't want to put anything to the chance of Mother Nature. Andrew Short can do everything he can to catch this rider right here.
Well, we're about halfway home, so a lot of racing left to go here in Dallas. Stay with us for the finish from Texas Stadium. Ryan Villopoto out front, only led 10 laps so far this season coming into tonight's race. He might lead all of these tonight, Eddie.
Well, all 10 of those, I believe, was at Anaheim 1, the opener. He needs to succumb to the pressure. Andrew Short, opening round of his career, Supercross Anaheim opener. Nothing more pressure built than that. But right now, this rider is picked up a lot of experience these last few rounds, and he is not succumbing to the pressure tonight. He's keeping a consistent pace over Andrew Short, who's in second. But the rider on the move in third is close the gap. He's picked up a little over a second on Short and Villopoto. He's only 6 seconds down now on Short with about 7 laps to go. A second lap will put him right behind Short at the finish.
Here's the key to Andrew Short's season. He has never finished outside the top 5 this year. As you look at Langston, it's been 3 wins, 2 seconds, and 1 fifth place finish in the second race in Phoenix. Now Langston, on the other hand, has been out of the top 5 only once as well, but he's got 2 wins, a second, a third, a fourth, and a 15th in the heavy mud in San Francisco, and that's really the difference in the championship right there.
And when you're only running 8 rounds like they do in the light class, 7 on the east, 8 on the west, every race counts. Langston, when he got that 15th in the mud, you probably would have thought, man, there goes the championship hope. But he stayed consistent with some big wins, and that's what put him in the championship run here tonight. Only 2 points back. Andrew Short and Ryan Villopoto, on the other hand, he wasn't really coming into the season looking for championship hopes. He was looking to put in some great, impressive rides, maybe get a couple wins under his belt. And right now, impressive, to say the least. He might get that win tonight.
What do you like about this young rider, Danny? So much hype has been said about him in the future. A lot of folks say the future of Supercross is this young rider right here, and riders like Michael Alessi and so forth, and Davey Millsaps who won the East Coast Championship just a couple of weeks back. But what do you like about his style?
He's just a charger. The kid rides every single day. He's riding for one of the most intense programs known on the circuit, the pro circuit, Pitch Payton. He's a gentleman. He rides, teaches these riders how to go to battle, and Ryan Villopoto, he's not afraid. He came in the opener, he jumped some of the biggest stuff on the track right away. He has no fear. And he's lived in kind of the shadow of maybe Mike Alessi in his career. He's all he knows how to do is work and work hard.
Andrew Short, meanwhile, looking to claim the championship.
Another rider who never really had a lot of limelight in his career. All he did was work hard. His friend up in Colorado, Paul Lindsay, gave him a good opportunity on Motor World, and he basically delivered. And Crowder and Andrew Short kept working harder and harder every year. And the manufacturer knows, and each year got more and more support. Right now, factory rider Honda looking to possibly give him a championship in this West Select title.
You got to believe that Ryan Villopoto might be challenging for a Lights championship next year. This year, a learning year. Next year could be a championship season.
Ryan Villopoto is going to be a favorite, a definitely contender to come to the Outdoor Nationals. There's going to be so many good guys. It's going to be a combination of the East and the West. Shooting out for 12 races. I cannot wait for the Outdoor Nationals to start here next month.
They're short. He's got it down to just about 4 seconds even, so he's picked up about a second, Danny, but the laps are ticking off. As you can see at the top of the screen, just 5. He's scheduled
5 to go.
Yep.
Langston's picked up another second. I'm sure he's 5 seconds back. He said he keeps putting off a second lap. He's going to put him right on Short's rear wheel, but not enough to make a pass. Grant Langston needs to get around Andrew Short if he hopes to keep anything going into this final round, because if he loses and drops 2 points, that'll move him to 4 points. And you know the difference between first and second is only 3. So the fate will be in Grant Langston to try and make something happen here. Andrew Short in these closing laps.
Grant Langston doing a great job. Just taking him off, working his way through. But it's really just come down to the 4 start for Langston. He's got the pace, Danny. In fact, he's running faster than Short. He's just too far behind him right now.
It's just not fast enough. He just started that first lap is where he does not make it up here and get something big done. That opening lap, he made a couple mistakes, got caught up in some traffic and was unable to start out with these guys. When the guy breaks away as quick as Ryan Villopoto has, you see the Supercross class. That's where James Stewart gets his job done, usually in the first 3 laps or so. And right now, Villopoto is Short, break away early. Langston doing everything he can to get to the back. He just ended that lap. Now 4.5 seconds down to Short. Here we go. So
the final round for the Amp Mobile Supercross Lights West Coast Series is next weekend. Westfield in Seattle for Speed, the home of the Supercross Light Series, both the East and the West, will be there to see which rider will claim that championship. And then make sure you watch our live broadcast from Las Vegas at the end of the year, first weekend of May, because we'll have the East-West shootout, and it's going to be a great opportunity to see these guys battling against Davey Millsaps and the rest. Krista.
Guys, we've been talking all about Andrew Short and Grant Langston. Don't forget, Nathan Ramsey came into this with championship hopes. He was 11 back. He would know that bad luck would have to strike either Andrew and actually both Grant. Instead, the bad luck has struck Nathan Ramsey. Coming out of the whoop section, he bent the brake lever. He came off the course. We mentioned that. He was banging the handlebar. It straightened out. He is back out there, but he's running 17. His championship hopes are done.
Saturday, May 6th at 10 p.m. is when we will be live from Vegas. Of course, Ryan Villopoto will be there. And he might be a Supercross winner when he gets there. Maybe a multiple Supercross winner, Denny, because if he hangs on to the win here tonight, he then leads this series up to Seattle. His home state is Washington. And you know, Westfield will be packed with Villopoto fans.
Packed with Villopoto fans.
And he's going to have a lot of momentum while the rest of the guys are battling for championship.
And I've seen in the weather reports they're already possibly calling for a little rain possibly. Make that race very exciting. And you know that Ryan Villopoto can get the job done in mud. He led that early round in San Francisco, and he broke away when it was muddy, made a rookie mistake and fell, but he could close out the season with 2 wins. I would not be surprised with this young talent of Ryan Villopoto, because right now in the last lap, he's about to reach every rider's dream to pick up a lights win tonight in Dallas, Texas.
You talk to Ryan Villopoto, and all he does is ride. He's homeschooled, giving himself more time to ride, doesn't play video games, doesn't do a lot of hanging out, just rides. And right now, he's riding himself to his first ever AMP Mobile Supercross Lights West Coast Series victory. All that hard work, all those laps, all that practice, about to pay off for Ryan Villopoto. Here he comes. History is made for Ryan Villopoto. His first Supercross Lights victory. Andrew Short gets second. Langston is third, and the championship fight will go to Seattle, where it will be decided. Speed's coverage of the AMP Mobile AMA Supercross Lights from Dallas is brought to you by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, personal watercraft, and scooters. By Dunlop Motorcycle Tires, accelerate your soul. By AMP Mobile, go to amp.com and entertain yourself. And by Toyota, choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward. 17-year-old Ryan Villopoto is a Supercross Lights West Coast Series winner. And Andrew Short and Grant Langston still will fight to the finish for this championship. They finished second and third, but it's Ryan we're going to talk to, who's with Krista.
Well, it seems like such an obvious question. How does it feel? But when it's your first win, it's a good question. How does it feel?
Oh yeah, it feels great. You know, never been up here in this spot. I've only been second from my first one, so that was pretty good. But you know, I couldn't have done it without my sponsors, my mom and dad. You know, my trainer Randy Lawrence and you know, Mitch and everybody. Doug from Bridgestone, the tires are great. Monster Pro Circuit Energy, Kawasaki, AMP Mobile, Thor, Maximo, Scott, KMC, and Jeff Fox at Parts Unlimited. Thanks a lot, and Renthal.
You got them all in. You know, earlier today you were joking with Davey Millsaps. You know, you said, hey, in your first year, how high did you get? And he said he got a couple of seconds, I think. You just topped him.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it feels great.
Ryan Villopoto, a first-time winner. He does it here in Dallas.
Krista, my guess is we're going to see a lot more of those of Ryan Villopoto standing on the top step. Well, here's a championship. Langston just 4 behind Short, headed to Seattle.
Ryan Villopoto jumps all the way to third, past that Nathan Ramsey. And we talked about the trainers. I think one thing that makes Ryan so strong is the trainer, Randy Lawrence. Guys been pushing in. Ryan Villopoto picks up the win. Not bad for a 17-year-old.
Second in the race, but the points leader is Andrew Short, Kristen.
That's so true. You know, it wasn't the win, but Andrew, you kept the guy that you needed to keep behind you.
Yeah, I didn't get the best of starts, but I put myself in a good position. I rode as hard as I could for 15 laps. Ryan and Grant both rode a great race, but it's good like you said, for Honda, all my sponsors, Fly Racing, Buku, Spy, Alpine Star, Dunlop Tires, and it's great, and I want to do good for Ernie and James Marshall. So I got one more weekend to go. It's going to be a long week this week, a lot of hard work, and I'm looking forward to winning this championship.
All right, perhaps a lot of sleepless nights this week, too. That's Andrew Short's. And a lot of praying, he says. He's second in Dallas.
And a lot of training, Buku Big Air is the big first-time winner, Andrew Short, or Ryan Villopoto, I should say, taking the Big Air replay. See skies through the night air here in Dallas on his way to his first win.
I would like to note that Ralph called it out at the beginning of the race. He once said, Ralph saw some of that kid, and he got it done.
I will say this too, Denny. Of course, you were a former winner on a Supercross Lights race in Dallas, but Krista, that was at the Cotton Bowl.
Very nice, throwing in a little stats there. Right now, we're going to talk to Grant Langston. And Grant, I know you were a little disappointed. You came over on the stage, kind of had your head in your hands, because you want it so bad. And with just a couple of races to go, you needed to catch Andrew. How do you feel coming out of here?
Just disappointed. I thought tonight I would do better than I did. He raced a full K. Practice, everything was good, but